Hi everyone, Simon Keeney here, Tuesday 15th of January. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Don't forget the site's all kept free of charge by the adverts you see around the screen, so it's when you come back and use the adverts and use the various charts that are on here, that's what generates the revenue, which keeps the site free of charge, so thank you for doing that. Now, we've got cool conditions through the rest of this week. I'm seeing some snow, of course, across the east. Now the focus is heading in towards the weekend, really, and the risk of some snow over the weekend. Also got some cold nights ahead, -7s to -10s, possible over the snowfields of eastern England over the next few nights. It really is these temperatures, though, here, as you can see, just starting to warm up on the GFS here into the weekend, and this rainfall you can see marked on the GFS as well, that we need to concentrate on just at the moment. And then the question really is, does mild air actually get in? I call this sort of dance where mild air tries to get in but never quite makes it, gets shifted back, goes forward a bit, goes back a bit, and eventually does try to get into the country. That's what I call the weather Charleston, as it goes forwards and backwards. Eventually it makes its way through, but boy, does it take some time to do so. This is the temperature prediction from the GFS Ensemble, which has been pretty consistent. Here's the temperature increase taking place this weekend. Look, and there you can see the precipitation in there as well by the end of the week into the weekend, and just a slight, well, a lifting us from cold conditions towards cooler to cold conditions. That's probably the best way to describe it. Look, through the course of next week, and then trying to bring things milder as we head into the end of January, but still not dramatically so. You know, it's still only getting up to near 5 degrees, although not as cold as it is in this early spell. Now, what you have to remember is that the GFS has a tendency to flatten things off. It's just one of the foibles of ensemble modelling, is that as you get further ahead, you do find the means kind of compressed because each of the runs are further apart, so your mean tends to get a little bit compressed, and that's what's happening here. But the overall signal is for cool conditions. Looking at the 7 to 10 day means of the 500 millibar flow, the ECMWF is here on the left, the GFS on the right, and this is the mean of the 500 flow from next Tuesday through to Friday the 25th. And what's interesting is, notice these two troughs here, one over the eastern states, one over the UK. Here they are again on the GFS, and also here's the jet stream over the Atlantic, but just look how it's dipping southwards with this trough over the UK on both runs of each model here, with this high block just staying across the pole, and it's this setup which is keeping us in cool to cold conditions. It's that's in charge of things, and we have to get rid of this block here before we can get ridges building north and the jet stream edges its way past north. So that's what we're going to be looking for. You know, you see, that's the change that needs to take place, is to get rid of this first, but the block just stays in there all the way through. Now this is quite interesting as well. These are the temperatures at 8:50, and this is at the end of the week, so we're looking at sort of -6s, -7s, and then watch as I run through this for the next 2 weeks from the GFS Ensemble. You see, we're only really getting up to between -2s and -5s generally. So, and as I said, the ensemble tends to flatten things out, but still, you're looking at those sort of temperatures. That just stays cool, even though we've got westerly winds, which of course traditionally we think of as being mild, but given that the jet stream is further south, we're just in this cool flow, which means some wintry conditions at times, perhaps not quite as cold as it is right now, but certainly just hovering around the wintry stage. Okay, so let's get some detail in there then for this week, and let's just get this chart reset back to today. There we go. So we've got ridge of high pressure in at the moment. This is the ridge in here coming across the country. Got a front out towards the west, which will try and bring some outbreaks of rain into Western Scotland and the Western Islands today, but generally we're cold, and I think really the emphasis tonight is on cold and fog. Looks like most of the fog is going to be affecting eastern parts of the country, but also just notice this little finger of cloud that's in here. This is a line of showers that develops and moves through Kent during this afternoon into tonight. You could be looking at 3 to 5 centimetres of snow over the eastern parts of Kent as that feed sets in. Those of you who live there know that's quite a regular feature of the winter weather. I think for many, though, the problem really is going to be one of fog, with that ridge just staying in there. And it looks as if those showers just continue across the Kent coast as we go through the course of tomorrow as well. And as the freezing fog really is reluctant to clear through Thursday, and also into Friday as well, you still see this feed of showers, look, just pestering these coasts of Kent, and also an area of cloud and rain just drifting into the western parts of Scotland, turning to snow as it goes inland. But really, the fun and games kick off during the latter part of Thursday into Friday. Look, here it comes, low pressure coming in from the west. It pushes this front eastwards. Now, as this front comes up against the colder air that's into the east, it gets stuck. And what it looks set to be doing is producing an area of snow southwest Scotland, northwest England, western parts of the Midlands, central southern England, and westwards. Now, at the moment, obviously, this area of snow changes and the actual location of it and the amounts change, but models are backing themselves up. The Canadian, the ECMWF, the GFS, all backing themselves up on the idea of this snowfall being out towards the west on Friday, and it kind of gets stuck there. That front then weakens overnight into Saturday, but it's still snowing out in these western areas at that time. Then we get a second hit of a front coming back into the west during the latter part of Saturday into Sunday. This brings another area of snow, this time southern England, the Midlands, northern England, southern and western Scotland, parts of Wales, and the mild air still out towards the west trying to get in. But that feature, you can see it there, starts to pivot around. So essentially what happens is that the mild air, yeah, gets in, but it's kind of only into that area there. So the precipitation turns to rain on its western edge, but on its northern edge it's snow, and this feature going up across eastern England could well be falling as snow as well. So super critical how this system actually gets in. So what does that mean in terms of snowfall? Well, this is the snowfall chart that I issued to clients earlier on this morning. This is very reminiscent, in fact it's virtually exactly the same as the chart that I put out yesterday, but it's about 12 hours earlier. So this is the chart by 6 AM Saturday. This is where snow is likely to be. I've still gone for the 3 to 8 centimetres in this region across lower ground, 5 to 15 centimetres over the hills by the end of Saturday. Now, I've put a note here, look, about the snow area becoming stationary. Most falls on Friday, but also I want you to note this confidence statement here as well about confidence in the timing of the snow being extremely low. The thaw sets into the west as the milder air turns in, but that's kind of what I'm expecting at the moment where that snow area is. That snow area is going to be shrunk because I've kind of given it quite a broad brush approach at the moment. As we get closer, that area will shrink down, but everything at the moment is pointing towards that. Now, just wanted to quickly show you as well this comparison chart. This is midnight on Monday, so it's Sunday into Monday as the ECMWF sees it, and you'll notice here, look, the cold feed of air still coming into the north of the country. We got low pressure off towards the south, look, and we got milder air by then. It's kind of into the south, but it's never really particularly very mild. But these areas here are going to be in milder conditions according to the ECMWF, although still cold running across the top of that. So, you know, these wintry conditions could persist. And then if we look at the Canadian, well, this is for the same time, so that's the ECMWF. Canadian for the same time, still got low pressure close by. Look, what the Canadian does though is it brings most of Ireland, most of England as well, and Wales into the milder air here, and just leaves the cold across Scotland. And what that would do is it would put the main area of snow in there, probably overnight Sunday into Monday. But just look at this cold feed. Look, the feed starts out here, goes out over the Atlantic across Iceland, and then dips down here into the Atlantic southwest of the UK. And what that's doing is this is just feeding cold air constantly southwards. It's sharpening up this trough here. It then lends itself to the ridge building back out to the west here. It also then means that this low can get its way southwards. We find high pressure building out here again, getting squeezed away towards the north, and the northeasterly winds kicking in once again into the end of January, beginning of February, and the whole cycle of the cool weather continues once again. So, loads going on, but I wanted to focus on the snowfall for now. I'll try and get something out to you, more to do with the dynamics about what's going on later on in the period later on. But for the moment, just bear in mind that we're talking about wintry weather. You know what that's like in the UK. That area of snow isn't going to be exactly that, but it's certainly going to be pretty close. So it's looking overall fairly wintry. We've just got to try and nail down the detail as we go day to day. And cool weather, well, I suspect we're on for it till it could potentially be the 10th, February, that sort of date, that we stay in this cool to cold pattern, perhaps even a little bit later than that. Anyway, for now, that's it. And don't forget the adverts. The adverts keep the site free of charge, so you can go back and use the adverts. Keeps the site free of charge. So once again, thanks for using the charts. Thanks for using everything on here. You can follow me on Twitter at Weather School, or do a search on Facebook for Weather School as well. So thanks for watching, and bye for now. Keep the sun shining.